Hey, Pisces. We're here to do a reading. I'm actually doing this before Capricorn and Aquarius because it's my birthday and I want to do our reading today. It's Sunday. This will come out like later in the week though. That goes with us. Let's get an overall energy from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. You are all well. Protection. Waning Crescent 1, 24. Monkey? We just got this for somebody else. I can't remember who at the moment, but... in realization... Okay, we're gonna use a brand new deck that I just got from a friend on my birthday. I opened it this, like an hour ago, cleansed it, and used it for a little reading on my own. It's the, ooh, that's like super Yankee. Clint? Hope I'm saying that right. This will be the first time using it on the channel, obviously. I won't do it for the other two signs because I'll make a debut with us. The other signs won't even know. I've shuffled and used it and shuffled more, but you know how brand new decks are. You just had one, sweets. You just had one. I'm going to do a Celtic cross. Okay. You. What crosses? Headspace. Root of the matter. Recent past. Near future. Sticky a little. Face yourself. Or others see you. Hopes and fears. Outcome. And overall, aside from the other two, 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands. I know there's a little bit of nudity, but we are such a small channel that we shouldn't have a problem. You. King of Pentacles. Stable. I said Pentacles, didn't I? It's funny, because which is why I didn't go into all the, anyways, it's the King of Cups. Of course, the King of Chalices. I guess you're stable. Are you also emotionally stable? Looks pensive, though. I mean, it is water energy. I think the King of Cups is that Scorpio. What crosses you? 9 of Swords. Feeling like you have nightmares. So, swords are usually self-inflicted, but protection and realization. Could there be a realization that you have to protect yourself from your own self-imposed thoughts? I hope you can hear the birds. They're lovely. That's why I have the door open. Headspace. 3 of Swords. Oh. It's emotional heartache and turmoil. It's funny, we don't usually think of the 3 of Swords as self-inflicted. But this feels, like this character actually feels very 9 of Swords. The 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, like nightmare-y, like, root of the matter. Knight of Pentacles. It's 1 pentacle. It's coming in. It's the slowest knight in the deck. Pentacles are tangible. But I'm getting a vibe that, like, tangible doesn't necessarily mean it's an item. Even, in my opinion, even some, like, thoughts, if they're impactful enough to change things, that is still a tangible. Like, it feels ephemeral, but if it has an impact, then it has a tangibility to it. Does that make sense? I don't know. I feel like Pisces will get me on that. Recent past. Temperance. I haven't seen all these cards yet, so. Attempting to balance something out. She's holding a piece of fruit while pouring out water. There's a lot of water in that jug, though. It's coming out like a faucet. Near future. 10 of Cups. So that 10 of Wands, in the overall, something's a burden, but it's going to pay off in the near future. Not burden. It's funny because I don't want to associate. I mean, maybe at times it feels burdensome, but it's just the effort required for your 10 of Cups. How you see yourself. Aww. This looks very 9 of Pentacles, but it's only the 7. So maybe you still see yourself as like evaluating your progress in the 7 of Pentacles. This is like in typical tarot would be like looking at be a gentleman kind of like looking at the shrubs, being like, do I like the fruit it's bearing? But this looks beautiful. What's going on there? And she's in a relaxed pose. Like, yeah, I feel good about this. I haven't read the book for these. I'm just reading these intuitively. I imagine once I have like some serious questions I will reference. We'll look to it for reference. How other people see you. 8 of Wands. You think perhaps you're moving a little quickly? I mean, you feel the 10. So it might look like you're putting in the work. I mean, 8 is more like fast movement. Yeah, like they think like you're putting in effort quickly. Like, it's funny because they're wands. It's like, it's speed, but I'm getting like your effort is yielding. Like if we saw the 10 wands as like about to yield a harvest. Go ahead, it's okay, baby. You can bring that up there. Hopes and fears. Oh. Now we have the 7 of Swords. Hopes and fears. It's actually a very pretty card. Oh my goodness. For such a, for a card that's less than ideal typically, we got protection and realization. These figures kind of look like they're sleeping. So it's almost like your own worst fears. So, like, it's kind of like what I said even in the beginning with the swords and the 9 of Swords and the 3 of Swords. I feel like there's a realization that the swords are in your head. And it's not to say that nobody feels some kind of way about you ever. Like, life. It's life, right? But the sword, like, I feel like protection is from you, but it's a realization. It's like the only, like, I mean, maybe I'm biased. But, like, the only swords that can, what they say, prosper against you or, like, be effective against you are your own. Inside your own head. Like, unless somebody... Ooh, let's not get graphic. Like... Unless there's a physical sword involved, it shouldn't be an issue when it comes to other people. Right, right. Ooh, just furrowed brow. Outcome. Knave of Wands. Very interesting. There's a lot of, like, eyes on this one. I was looking to see if this is a theme. I think, like, the circles are themes. And, like, there's, oh. There is, like, an evil eye theme, but I don't know if it was intentional per se, or if just the artist happened to use those colors on some of their little circles. But this one is very clearly eyes. So the outcome is the Knave of Wands, with overall being the Ten of Wands. I'm feeling like an action-oriented beginner's mind. Okay. So, if you have a realization that, that's funny, that you need to protect yourself from your own sword energy, you're going to be a beginner at taking your thoughts out of the sword realm and into the wand realm for productive action. I freaking love that. It's gonna be the beginner's mind, though, because it's a reprogramming your brain. Dang. It's a total reprogramming. You can do it, though. It's gonna be challenging. I mean... How do I put this? I think there's a common struggle with, like, a little bit of self-doubt, a little bit of just being hard on oneself, or it's funny, it's not even coming through as insecurity, it's coming through as, like, an overarching defense mechanism. Protection. Got it. It comes through. You're protecting yourself. You think you're protecting yourself by thinking of... I was doing the same thing as this that crosses you. Protecting yourself. Realizing... It is your own thoughts, but it's like you're also projecting it outwards. You think it's like a... Not quite hypervigilance, but it's like a sort of... Like a thinking of all the possible scenarios so that you can handle them. I'm so guilty of this myself. Just a minute, my love. You want to come say hi? Come here. Come on. Let's say hi to the people. On my birthday. Oh. This is Thea. My love. She's afraid of the plant. She's honestly afraid of the plant. Can you look over there? Look. She doesn't want to. Thank you for anybody that likes dogs. Sorry for those of you that don't. It's catastrophizing? Catastrophizing? Why is that word not coming to me? You understand, though. We don't have to do that. I mean, there's a sense of there's a taking care of oneself and like being a prepared, responsible individual. But that slips into hypervigilance. I don't think we don't have to do that all the time. You don't just sit in that. Like, oh, Pisces, why do we do that? Realization that you don't need to sit in that fight or flight mode. How funny. We do that, don't we, though? We sit in like that survival mode. Oh, another thing is that if you are feeling burdened, I've been getting this in my own stuff, that when I feel burdened, I want some alone time. And people are not always so good at understanding that, honestly. I think unless you're a Pisces or possibly an Aquarius, that really is like, I can't have people in my energy constantly. I know Aquarius loves friends, but I'm fairly certain that they also need their moments. And there are a lot of signs that want moments of isolation. Well, not moments of peace. But I don't know. Like, Pisces is a special kind of like. Sometimes, like, I don't want anybody in my space at all. Doesn't mean I don't want to communicate with people. But I'm such a sponge that, like, there's another layer of it. Another layer. It's coming in multifaceted, which is, like, why it might be tough to reprogram. Because we gotta see all the angles. Or reverse engineer this-ish. Sponge of emotions. Okay, another layer. One was just that, like, protection. Maybe these swords, some are yours, and some are others. We do have to protect ourselves at times from our own, and then we do have to protect ourselves sometimes from swords from the external that are not necessarily being directed towards us, but are just in the field. That stuff. I genuinely think that is why Pisces needs alone time. Like, there's too much energetic stuff. Like, even being around somebody that's emotionally dysregulated. Not that Pisceans are not at times. Like, nobody's perfect, certainly. But you can just feel it. It's like, oh, I care about this person. Like, they're fun to be around. But there's something going on in their emotional realm that you feel. There are moments where it's like, I can keep that at bay. And there are moments where it's like, is that being directed at me? That might be, a little bit. Like, let's be real. Sometimes that stuff is. And I feel it, like I'm feeling it now, like, in here. Because I'm trying to pull moments of, like, yeah. Like, sometimes when Pisceans need to take the space, people don't always take that well. People don't take that well. They And it's funny because maybe they're right. How do I put this? They immediately see it as like, not always, sometimes you'll see Pisceans taking space as an affront to them. This might be, how do I put this? This might be like an oversight of Pisces, or like we don't necessarily understand this. We're only seeing the one layer. Just so funny. We're just feeling something that we don't understand yet, and we're acting on it. Like we're feeling like, oh, this person, like feeling, I don't know, I'm not comfortable here. I need to take some space, and just doing it without like analyzing it. But people feel that immediately, like they're not comfortable in my space. They need their space. Or we're like, oh, we're just taking space. Like, we're just listening to ourselves. And then later we might realize that it was because we didn't appreciate somebody else's energy. Yeah. It's energetic. It's nothing intentional. That's the protection. The realization that it's just energetic. We need a lot of cleansing. Cleansing and taking back your power and sending back any energies. And it's funny because, like, I'm going to have to add another layer to my own little intentions, mantras, situations. Because I would say something like, please send back any energies projected onto me. Blessed and transmuted. But what if they're not projected onto you? What if they're just in the field? It's funny because what if some people are so good at like being, I don't want to say normal, but being like seeming regulated when they're not, which would be okay for most people. Pisceans are so spongy that we pick it up. We pick it up. I feel like I just talked without pulling cards for like 10 minutes. I would have liked to pull an advice card, but I feel like this is just so... There's so much here already. And I think, like, you got me. Attempt to come up with a new protection mantra, or however you do, cleansing, whatever. But frame it in a new way that just maybe protects yourself from energetic stuff that's just around and not intentional. Yeah. I mean, that kind of takes us out of a victim mentality, too. It's like, oh, no, nobody meant... It wasn't meant to be... Like, it wasn't meant for me to absorb something. It just happens because of who we are. Yeah. Anyways, happy birthday to all the other Pisceans out there. And I love you. I'll see you again. Take care.